Casting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Credibility means everything in this life, and if you have it, you can do a lot of extraordinary things, and if you don't have it, well, you're really not going to be able to accomplish many of the goals that you set out to accomplish. Welcome back to This Is Why We Stand, everyone. Joe Archino back here, and I think obviously this segment is directed towards Colin Kaepernick, who certainly has generated a lot of discussion from the beginning of the NFL season to currently. He has always been in the news cycle, and to a lot of people it has been for reasons that they has really upset them and angered them, and nonetheless, it has created discussions, and I think a lot of them are discussions that need to be had. And certainly this last one is coming off of where he wore a Malcolm X Fidel Castro shirt, and the comments that he made stemming from his reasoning for wearing that shirt, I think right there, it kind of puts the final nail in the coffin to any credibility that he had built up. Now, to me as it is, I mean, his stance that he's taken not to stand for the American flag, I think you look at his reasoning for it, and look, he's obviously someone against social injustice. There's nothing wrong about that, but the disrespect that he shows in taking his stance is something that I think is a major problem. And look, he has hurt the military community. There's no debate about that. I think you can look in, he has obviously been vocal about he's not aiming to hurt anyone in the military community, but he has done so regardless of what he comes out and says. And I think when you look at Kaepernick, time after time, when he's really had an example and has had a way to substantiate his cause and to really use his platform, he has not done so. He did not vote in the election, which I think right off the bat just totally took away any form of credibility that he had as a social justice advocate, through someone with a message. And then this stance after wearing the Fidel Castro t-shirt, and then more importantly, trying to be a defender of Fidel Castro. I mean, look, he's somewhat taken a little bit of a step away from what he said, but nonetheless, I mean, you look at what he said and you read into it. It wasn't taken out of context. He meant what he said, and he basically, if you didn't hear what he said, was he basically acknowledged that Fidel Castro did some good things. But the only problem is he kind of ignored all of the awful, horrific things. Fidel Castro, there's a reason so many people celebrated his death. And look, you can argue if it's right to celebrate someone dying or not, but Fidel Castro was always an enemy of freedom. There's no debate about that. He was always an enemy to the United States of America, and not just to the United States of America, but to free people everywhere. This is a person who broke apart families. This is a person who put people in jail who would speak out against his government. This is not a good person. He never was, and his death is a good thing for the rest of the world. He was always an enemy of freedom, and I think when you look at Kaepernick, look, I mean, he seems to be someone who liked his idea of free universal health care, of an education system that he believed worked. But, I mean, those are two extreme things to look at when, as a whole, what Fidel Castro was and what he stood for is a menace. I mean, you can't use the word dictator, and then you can't connect anything good with that word. Dictators don't bring good things. And I think when you look at Kaepernick in this new latest example, it's just more concrete proof that I think really he's kind of become lost in his cause and what he believes that he is standing for. And I think more than anything, his little short interaction with a reporter, who you could just kind of see the reporter was giving him a chance to kind of clarify himself, and he certainly didn't do himself any favors, and kind of equated, and the reporter, I mean, I give him a lot of credit because he was asking the smart questions, and basically what he said to him was, how do you equate Fidel Castro to the United States when Fidel Castro broke apart families? And Kaepernick's answer to that kind of was, well, we do that through our criminal justice system by breaking apart families and putting them in prison. But that's just another one of those answers that you just think about, and it doesn't make sense. Are there people who have been convicted who shouldn't be where they are. Absolutely, it happens in the criminal justice system. It just does. It's one of the things that is just a unfortunate example that happens time and time again. But to use that as an example to say you're breaking apart families, the people largely in this country who are convicted, there's a reason why they're convicted, because they are not fit to be in society, because they are not worthy of being in society, and we need to protect our society, and that's why they are where they are. But I think more than anything, you just need to kind of look at it. Colin Kaepernick is a man with a lot of money. There's no debate about that, and a lot of people would argue with you that having that money allows you to create change. But I will always argue that it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you don't have credibility, you are not going to be able to be the advocate for what you want to advocate for. It's just not possible. You can have all the money in the world, but if people don't believe in you and they don't think that you bring credibility towards what you believe in, well, you're not going to be able to build a following. Money is going to get you a lot of places in life. It just is. You cannot be a good person and have a lot of money. It's going to help you do a lot of things. But if you don't, at some point, show credibility, show that you have the right on your side, and be able to build a following with right on your side, you're never going to be able to be the change that you want to see. And I think Colin Kaepernick, for all young people out there who are kind of looking at the political climate, whatever you name it, and want to see change, this is not a way to do it. Colin Kaepernick is lost in his ideology. From the very onset, he took the wrong stance. And to me, I mean, as a young person, I started the series, This Is Why We Stand, to counter what Colin Kaepernick was doing. Because I know him not standing, he's not standing for the political injustice in the world, for the social injustice in the world, for the racial injustice in the world. But the people who represent that flag are not the people who have created those circumstances. The people who are the embodiment of that flag are our military service members, and that's why people like me have taken such a sideway turn and have really been such vocally against Colin Kaepernick. And I think you need to really take a look at it, because it's true. You need to build credibility. Building it the right way will give you a platform to openly discuss what you believe in, and more importantly, work towards creating that change. Colin Kaepernick, from the onset, has built the wrong platform, and he has done it the wrong way. He's generated to discussion. You can't debate that, because he has a platform, but he has that platform, and he has not used it the right way to really fully do things the right way. And I think the biggest that shows you any lack of credibility that he has, he didn't vote in the election. He wears a Fidel Castro t-shirt. Anytime he talks, you kind of just listen to him. And to me, I mean, he just seems like he's lost. He thinks he knows what he's taking a stand for, but when he actually goes out there and discusses it on an open platform, all I see is really confusion and someone who really doesn't understand the extent of the words and the issues that he's dealing with. But thank you for listening, everyone. This is Why We Stand. Joe Archino here. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, and follow me on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. Thanks for listening, everyone, and I'll be back next time.